Hello everybody and welcome to Motorsport Life. I hope you're all doing very well and looking forward to the festive period. I hope in advance that you all have a great Christmas and New Year and that you enjoy, food, drink, family, friends, etc. what we all look forward to. But as we know, there is a distinct lack of motorsport throughout the winter and certainly over the festive period. So what we're doing today is we are looking at the best content that is available online about motorsport. So whether that's YouTube channels or websites specifically, or even Instagram, Facebook, etc., or anything along those lines that we think is noteworthy at this stage. Now, I do want to point out at this stage that obviously this is not a definitive list. We won't have been able to find every single bit of motorsport content that there is online. So do please let us know your thoughts down below if there's anybody or any race series or anything that we've missed off this list that you like watching. Then do please let us know, because we want to know, we want to share the motorsport love, as they say. So we're going to split these into a number of categories. First of all, we're going to have kind of racing series and championships, what they're putting out. We'll also have drivers or riders themselves. Usually quite a few of them have their own YouTube channels, etc. Also going to have sim racing, because that's also very prevalent at the moment, and also kind of others and honourable mentions at the end as well, which are more kind of don't really fit into any of the other categories basically. We are going to start off with racing series / championships, or kind of car manufacturers and people like that who put out a lot of content. So first of all, we're going to kick off with probably my favourite, which is Nismo TV, which is nismo.tv, or just search for Nismo on YouTube. And the reason I like them so much is that they put out a lot of content, certainly throughout the race series, and they do a lot of live feeds as well. So they do the Super GT Championship, they do the Nissan Micra Cup, which is awesome. Yep, they race Nissan Micras on slicks in Canada. And they also do the Blancpain Endurance Series. Now, there has recently been an announcement that Nissan does not have full factory backing for next season, so we'll have to wait and see what they pick up. But obviously, they are now in Formula E, so hopefully they will be picking up some coverage of that, purely because I think the channel's great and it'd be really sad to see that disappear. So they've certainly got a great back catalogue of stuff. If you haven't gone to it before, then please go and have a look at nismo.tv on YouTube and see all of the stuff that they've created so far. So I think one that we have to mention at this time of year is Formula E. Their YouTube channel is very busy. Again, they put out a lot of content. They do a lot of highlights, driver interviews, interview with championship organisers, etc. So it kind of gives you a little bit more background, because obviously with it being such a new championship and with the Gen 2 cars that are now out without having to do pit stops, etc., there's a lot of new rules. So we really would recommend, if you're interested in that championship, or even if you're a bit kind of not pessimistic about it but a bit apprehensive about the championship, then do go and have a look, because it does give you a lot of information about what's to come with that championship, and also live coverage on the day if you don't have access to it on TV. So go and have a look at the Formula E Championship. I think at this stage we do have to give an honourable mention to Formula 1. Now, if we were talking 2 years ago, I would put them in the bad / awful category. Obviously, the Bernie Ecclestone effect. He didn't think that kids were important and social media, etc., wasn't important at all. Fast forward to today, and they really have stepped things up. I mean, I personally don't have access to all of the races on live at present, because I'm not willing to pay the amount of money, which is about £25 a month, which you have to buy the whole of the sports package just to get F1, and I'm not willing to pay that. So YouTube actually is now probably the main point where I pick up my Formula 1 coverage. And they do full race highlight, well, every session highlights. They do all three free practices, qualifying and race highlights on YouTube now. So that's really good. So if I've missed the race, and I still like to watch the highlights live, if you get what I mean, in terms of not knowing the result, because it always gives you makes you more excited about it, because you don't know what's about to happen. And they've recently put out an animation which I love, and it's getting a lot of praise online because of how original it is. And basically it's team radios dubbed over the top of animation, and it's really funny. Do go and have a look at that because it is worth a watch. You can see that on their Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of them. So go and have a look at that. So one that you probably haven't heard of unless you're from kind of a karting background is a channel on YouTube called Alpha Live. So they do a lot of live karting coverage. So they cover the British Kart Grand Prix, the Club 100 Championship, which I race in. They cover the Birrell Art Championship, the Wilton Mill Club Championship, and I think they cover Super One. Super One is out there, and I can't remember if it's that or there's another one called TDI Media as well, so have a look at those two. But if you're into karting or want to get into karting, then I'd really recommend going to have a look at their website. They're called Alpha Live. They provide timing software to circuits and championships, but also they do host live broadcast of all of the YouTubes, as in throughout the whole day. They cover all the races with commentary. It's really good to see, and we love grassroots motorsport here at Motorsport Life, so go and have a look at that. All of these will be linked down in the description below, so by all means go and have a look. Let me know what you think, and as I said, if I have missed any, then let me know below. There's a couple to mention at the minute as well, just because they do have or did have winter championships. So you've got ELMS, so European Le Mans Series. There's also the Asian Le Mans Series, and also the Le Mans channel. So all of those kind of, if you're into endurance racing, they've got season reviews. You know, they've just finished the Asian Le Mans Series, so there's a lot of coverage of that on there. And along the same kind of feature of endurance racing, there's also the 24-hour series channel, which I would get onto now because it does do coverage of the Dubai 24-hour race live for the full 24 hours. So that is in early January, kind of, I almost want to say the first weekend in January. So it's a 24-hour race with GT3 cars, with live coverage, live commentary, live timing, and you can comment on it as they go along. So I'd say that's it for racing series and championships. So hopefully you guys have found that informative. But we're going to move on to the next category, which is drivers and riders. Drivers and riders, that's one. So a lot of drivers are kind of jumping on the bandwagon of vlogging or, you know, creating YouTube content whilst they're being a racing driver. So they're in a unique position. There's hardly anybody, in percentage-wise, of people who are professional racing drivers. So it's really good to see kind of behind-the-scenes footage, people working with the teams, you know, all the travel that's involved, all of the fitness, etc., and also the cool stuff that they get to do, the cool cars they get to drive. And actually, the main reason I brought up this category is I've just discovered Andreas Bakkerud's channel, again linked in the description below. But he used to be Ken Block's teammate in the World Rallycross in the Hoonigan Ford team, but they obviously got dissolved. He then went to Audi in the World Rallycross Championship, but now he's kind of, well, by the looks of his YouTube channel, he's now testing a lot of different motorsport categories. So the most recent video that I've just watched, which was awesome, was he was testing a DTM car at Jerez with Audi. He's just tested a Formula Renault 3.5, so it's kind of, that used to be the category below F1, and also an F3 and an F4 car. So it's really interesting to see kind of his experience going from rallycross to circuit racing. He has done circuit stuff in the past, but the best thing about him for me is his excitement. He gets excited every time he's near race cars. So I find that there are a few racing drivers who seem to come across a bit ungrateful, or take things for granted, which I guess is natural with anything once you've been in it for so long. But he's really good, and he gives out really good content, and it's in English, which for me is useful. Onto two wheels, Scott Redding's got a channel, so obviously he's now left MotoGP and he's going into the BSB, so I think he'll have more opportunity to put more content out. He's just put one up about him testing, so I'd keep an eye on that one. He's an interesting character. He's not afraid of saying what he thinks, which is always great for videos and content, so keep an eye on that one. One which is, I don't know if controversial or interesting is the word, but Nico Rosberg has a YouTube channel. If you didn't know, he does vlogs, almost daily vlogs now, which some of them are obviously motorsport based, some of them aren't. He has obviously got his fingers in a lot of pies. He's doing a lot of stuff with Formula E. He's still got ties with Mercedes. He's doing a really interesting series at the moment of interviews with kind of important people or people with great ideas, like Matthew Syed, the ping pong guy as he's known, did a book called Bounce. It's all about kind of the science behind learning a trade and how you become the master of something. And he says 10,000 hours is what you need to do, but that's 10,000 hours of training with feedback and improving, etc., rather than just doing something for 10,000 hours. So he does do some pretty interesting stuff on there. And finally, one that I have covered on this channel before is Nicolo Canepa. He is an ex-MotoGP rider. He now races in endurance racing, I think, but he does amazing onboard videos of him ragging his superbike around tracks. They are awesome. He does night races. He does everything, so go and check that out. Now, on to the next category. We're on to sim racing. So again, it's something that's close to us, or certainly close to me. I used to do a lot of sim racing. And there's a very important guy, and I call him important because he's a rising star, but he is completely kind of down to earth and normal. So it's a guy called Jimmy Broadbent, and I'm sure you have seen him if you're watching this video because you're on YouTube. He does live streams virtually every day of him racing in various different categories. He's just done a video on YouTube of him racing against Max Verstappen and Lando Norris on iRacing, which again he was very excited about. He races in iRacing Endurance Championships, but he also does really funny, interesting, fun videos for YouTube, like trying to set fastest laps around the Nordschleife, or doing weird cars, doing his, turning his direct drive steering wheel onto 100%, seeing if he can even get round a lap. He injured his wrist doing that, so he's not afraid of putting his body on the line for our entertainment, which is always good. Again, one that I've covered before is a guy called Marcel Pfister. He does this whole mixed reality thing, and as you can see on the screen now, it's pretty mind-blowing. It's very, very clever tech. He does have a video on his YouTube channel of how he does it. He uses a green screen and software, but it's very clever. It looks like he's sat in the car, but with a VR headset, but obviously he's not, so go and check him out. And then a couple more which are kind of more, what's the word? They're kind of championships, or they're dedicated kind of YouTube channels. So we've got Race Department and also the Virtual Endurance Championship VEC, both on YouTube. Both put out a lot of content, so check those out as well. Finally, this is kind of the other category, which I guess is people that don't really fit into other categories. And first we have to mention WTF1, who are doing great things at the moment. They are not just YouTube, they are kind of across Facebook, Instagram especially, and also YouTube as well. But they're putting out a lot of content. They focus a lot on Formula One, which is fine. That's obviously where they're going to get the views from. But they are now branching out into other motorsport and sim racing as well, which is great. So do go and check those guys out and tell them I sent you. There's a German channel which you don't need to speak German to watch, and I'll explain why. It's called race-media.tv or Race Media TV on YouTube, and it is predominantly there to cover the VLN Championship at the Nordschleife. So they do a lot of onboard cameras of that, and I mean like from one car for hours. So you can have it on while you're at the gym, or you could have it on in the background while you're doing something. But it's really interesting to see a stint develop and how they have to deal with the traffic there, which is insane, coming in for pit stops, driver changes, so you can see all of that. They do also do preview and review videos of each round, but they are in German, which is why I tend to just watch the onboard videos. I'm going to round off with somebody who I think misses the mark, although they have 1.8 million subscribers. So hey, who am I to complain? Or who am I to judge, should I say? But MotoGP have a really odd way of using YouTube, in my opinion. They just suddenly spam like 10 videos at once into your subscription feed. Like, what is this? And it's just random, like on track with KTM. It's just them driving around the track, or a random interview with somebody. There doesn't seem to be any form of timetable or schedule or reason for it. I know that to watch MotoGP and stuff, you have to subscribe on the Motorsport or the MotoGP channel on the MotoGP website. So maybe that's why they're limited with what they can put out, but it just seems a bit odd to me how they do that. But overall, we are blessed by the amount of content that we've got for Motorsport. It's just about finding it and knowing where to look. I would recommend having a look at channels that we are subscribed to ourselves on this channel. So if you go to that list, pretty much all of them on there we watch at some point, and maybe not so much at the minute because we're in the off season, so there's no live stuff going on, but do go and check it out. Let us know what you think down below. What's your favourite channel that you watch? But that is going to be it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as I said before, have a very happy Christmas and happy New Year. Bye bye.